We're on the road for agriculture on the Rural Radio Network. I'm Clay Patton here at O'Hanlon Seed, your channel seedsman in Lexington, Nebraska, our producer meeting. And one thing that Dustin brought in this year, trying to bring just different perspectives that producers need to be thinking about before we get into planting. And of course, one of those is crop insurance as well, even some livestock insurance possibilities. With the home agency, I have the opportunity now to talk with Ben Rand, one of the presenters for the home agency today. Ben, as we're getting ready for planting season, what do we need to keep in the back of our mind for crop insurance?
Well, for those of us that don't have hail bought yet, I think that's the number one concern. We're looking at some weather forecasts that really have a lot of moisture and a lot of heat in them. When you combine those two things here in the Western Corn Belt, hail is always on everybody's mind. And piggybacking off hail, you got the wind risk too. With some of these really racehorse hybrids that are just massive yields, we need to protect those as best we can. And if you don't have your hail bought, it's probably time to start thinking about what you need.
So hail is definitely something to keep in mind. Another program that you talked about with folks here this afternoon was LRP, that's Livestock Risk Protection. Give us a quick background. What do we need to be keying in on that? Because we're getting closer to grass season day by day.
Oh, we absolutely are, and we're seeing some really spectacular cattle numbers. I mean, stuff we haven't seen since 2014. 220s, really the sky's the limit, I think is the motto right now for a lot of cattlemen, and I'm happy to see that. But at the same time, there are risks out there that we can't foresee. Black swan events, there's obviously bank issues that have come to the forefront of the news as of late. De-dollarization is another thing that a lot of people have talked about. You're seeing China start to make some really strong alliances with these oil-producing countries within OPEC, and those. Unfortunately, some of those deals are being done with yuan. These are things that we can't forecast or foresee in the market, and this is what LRP is for. It locks up a coverage level that settles against a cash market. And we're having some young producers that have never had the opportunity to lock up a 229 weight or a 174 fat. So I encourage guys to look at it, look at your break-evens, know what your numbers are. You don't need to lock up a loser in this market. You can lock up profitable sales, and it's time to look at some of that stuff.
And this is something you're constantly watching. Like you were talking about, you've got 3 monitors in your office. You're watching livestock, you're watching grains, you're watching the markets on a daily basis, because with LRP, you can't really know that until the market is closed for that day, but the home agency's ready to take care of you day or night when it comes to locking in some of that risk protection.
That's correct. So livestock risk protection is not available during regular Chicago Board of Trade trading hours. It only becomes available after 3:30 in the afternoon Central Standard, and then it sells all the way till 9 o'clock the next day. Spent a lot of nights in the office with my daughter drinking coffee and booking cattle for guys. Love the program. It's not a silver bullet. I tell people that all the time, but it's another tool in the toolbox, and for somebody that maybe doesn't have the capital for a hedge account, it's a great place to start putting hedges on with your feeders and fat cattle.
And again, has been Rand with the home agency. You can also, again, be thinking about that hail insurance this time of year, grass cattle, or if you got them in the feedlot as well, that LRP, Livestock Risk Protection. That is the latest here from O'Hanlon's producer meeting. That's O'Hanlon Seed in Lexington. We're on the road for agriculture on the Rural Radio Network.